America loves cars. It symbolizes our spontaneity, our freedom, and our inventiveness. But we don't love high gasoline prices.
Why the high prices?
Well, there's more people in the US than ever before using gasoline, about 882 million gallons each day. There are more people in the world using gasoline as well. About 2.5 million gallons of gasoline is burned each minute. 70% of the United States oil is imported, costing $700 billion every year. This puts our economic security at risk. And the pollution. United States vehicle emissions contribute 1.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide pollution to our atmosphere each year. Yes, gasoline is a problem. We need a better transportation fuel.
But how do you drive without gasoline?
We could drive electric cars. They are clean, quiet, and best of all, don't use gasoline. Electric cars have existed as long as their gasoline cousins, since the mid-1800s. But to compete with gasoline cars for speed and power, electric cars needed bigger and bigger batteries, becoming more expensive and less efficient since more of the battery's energy is used for moving all that extra weight. Even the most advanced batteries, such as a lithium-ion battery, can weigh up to 400 pounds, making it impossible to change the way you change a battery, say, for a flashlight. Batteries can take up to 8 to 12 hours to recharge. You couldn't do this at a gas station, but you would at home. This would put a strain on our current electrical system. If we get brownouts and blackouts from people turning up their air conditioners, imagine every garage charging up their car. Also, the U.S. automotive industry would need its workers to be retrained and its factories rebuilt to manufacture completely different vehicles. So, our automotive industry created hydrogen fuel cells to solve battery problems. These fuel cells create electricity from hydrogen gas and wouldn't need recharging. Instead, you'd replenish the hydrogen supply much the same way you'd fill your tank with gasoline. Hydrogen can be made with electricity and water, on demand for the customer. But like charging batteries at home, this too would require a national electrical upgrade to handle the increased load. Making hydrogen next to a power source would eliminate the need to transport electricity to gas stations, but transporting hydrogen would be even more difficult. Hydrogen takes up more volume than gasoline. It would take 15 hydrogen tankers to equal one gasoline tanker in fuel. If we compress hydrogen to fit into one tanker, the tank would have to be so strong that it would weigh as much as 12,000 tons, making it costly, if not impossible, to transport. And as with battery-powered cars, hydrogen fuel cells would still cause hardships for the automotive industry. But wait, let's go back a minute. Perhaps we don't need a fuel that powers electric engines, rather a clean, renewable, domestically produced liquid fuel that powers our current combustion engines and fits into our current fuel distribution structure. Politicians saw potential with alternative renewable liquid fuels, particularly ethanol and biodiesel, made from crops bringing jobs and money to U.S. farmers and Midwestern towns. These liquid fuels are made from sugar and oily parts of plants, like corn. Unfortunately, these are the same parts we eat, as well as we feed to our livestock. If we fed this to our cars, what do we and our livestock eat? So scientists are currently toiling away to invent cellulose ethanol, or ethanol which can be made from other parts of the plant we don't eat.
So there's no solution yet.
Well, I wouldn't say that. The answer could be the most simplest of all alcohols, methanol. Methanol can be made from any part of a plant or biomass. When this mass is burned at high temperatures with a controlled amount of oxygen, a gas mixture is released called synthesis gas. This syngas can be turned into methanol. Biomass includes agricultural waste, wood and wood wastes, grass and aquatic plants, municipal wastes or garbage dumps and landfills, animal wastes such as the manure lagoons of large cattle feedlots, and even sewage treatment plants which handle large amounts of, well, you get the idea.
But is methanol clean?
Interestingly, methanol fuel not only produces less carbon dioxide pollution than gasoline, but by using an electrochemical process, methanol can be made from carbon dioxide itself. As we begin to use more renewable and alternative energy sources free of carbon dioxide pollution, such as wind, hydro, solar, or nuclear, scientists believe we could harvest carbon dioxide from our atmosphere and seawater, which contains a 60% higher concentration of carbon dioxide. This method would create a closed carbon-neutral cycle, recycling carbon dioxide completely, rather than adding to it.
But is methanol safe?
Since the mid-1960s, methanol became the fuel of race cars. If race cars fueled on methanol should crash, the fire is smaller and more easily extinguished with water, making a dangerous accident less deadly. Methanol can be used in small quantities in our current cars, being blended with gasoline. To use significant amounts of methanol, car engines would need only to be fine-tuned due to methanol's different chemical composition. With the right adjustments, methanol would offer lower overall emissions and higher energy efficiency than gasoline. Cars which run on varying amounts of alternative fuel, or flex fuel cars, have existed for decades and only stopped production due to the lack of alternative fuel supply.
But what of our future in transportation fuel?
Scientists discovered you can generate electricity from methanol for use in a fuel cell. This combines the advantages of a fuel cell with the advantages of a liquid fuel. Plus, using methanol in a fuel cell is twice as efficient as burning it in a combustion engine. Methanol, a renewable biofuel which comes from a variety of domestic sources, allowing for greater investment in U.S. industry and energy security. Methanol, an alternative fuel which is the least invasive to our food supply, automotive industry, and infrastructure. Methanol, a fuel which can transport us into the future.